So China may have just forced the United States' hand in negotiations in Geneva when tariffs between the two countries were slashed by 115%. But before we talk about how China negotiated from a position of strength, let's recap. After the US started a trade war with China in February, the two countries kept ratcheting up the taxes they collect on imports from the other country massively in a tit-for-tat manner. That reached a point when US importers for Chinese goods were paying a staggering 145% in fees. That means that a US company that sources, for example, baby strollers from China would have had to pay nearly its full price and a half to the US government in taxes. A massive burden to US consumers if the costs were passed on. But on Monday, China and the US said that they'd substantially lower those tariff rates on both sides. US importers of Chinese goods would pay 30% for the next 90 days, while Chinese importers of US goods would pay 10%. The 90-day window is expected to put pressure on negotiators to find a larger deal. Both sides showed great respect to what was a very positive process, US Trade Secretary Bessent said after the meeting. But after the escalation in recent months, why did the countries come to such a quick and massive reduction in tariffs? On the one hand is the US. Consumers there are very dependent on goods from China. Take again the baby strollers. 97% of these buggies the US imports come from China. Had those tariffs continued, American consumers would have paid a hefty price, possibly weakening Donald Trump's position with voters. On the other is China. The country isn't as dependent on US imports, and it had quickly managed to divert the goods it used to sell to the US to other countries. In April, China exported 8% more goods than the year before, because it shifted selling goods to other Asian countries and the European Union. So Chinese negotiators could lower trade barriers from a position of strength in Geneva, a show of force to its own people and the US government.